Now we begin Chapter 5. Nothing Left. After some catching up, James led Daniel into the fortified village. It was the largest Daniel had ever seen, stretching across hundreds of blocks with thousands of buildings, some great and some small. Tens of thousands of villagers worked their daily jobs as Daniel admired it all. They soon arrived at an even more fortified building, guarded by two huge iron golems. James gave a slight nod, and they parted. What they entered appeared to Daniel as some sort of war room. Many desks lined the walls with villagers scurrying about this way and that. Maps and charts lay spread out on dozens of tiny tables, being pored over by many cartographers. James said, "This is the fortified city of Tarsonis, the largest village enclave in the overworld. We're in the observatory, aka the War Tower." Daniel admired the place, remarking that he had to play this game more when they finally got out of it. Daniel's gaze soon fell on a villager speed-walking towards them. This one had piercing blue eyes, pale skin, and at the same time looked very tough, but also very war-weary. "Ah, James, you found him! Glad to have you aboard, Daniel. James has told me so much about you. I'm General Ironfeld, leader of the armed forces of Tarsonis." He extended a blocky hand, which Daniel hesitantly took. "I know everything looks amazing, but there's no time for a tour." He soon took on a serious tone as he said, "Something is coming." Daniel looked bewildered as he asked, "What do you mean?" Ironfeld briskly walked over to a large map on the wall. This map marked a large swath of the overworld. "When I said we were the largest enclave in the overworld, I meant it. We're slowly becoming the last one. Over the last several months, villages all across the east have been going dark. Scouts reported no survivors, and burned ruins marking any remainder of a settlement. No one's been able to identify what is causing this mass destruction and death. While the West has a handful of fortified settlements like these, some remarkably strong ones have still fallen to this mysterious foe. According to recent data, the entity just demolished another settlement way north of us. It was a Guild of Knowledge or something. Again, no survivors. However, this time..." "Wait, the Guild of Knowledge?" Daniel cried. "They were the ones supposed to set me and James free of here." Ironfeld startled at the interruption, but then continued, saying, "Yes, your brother has told me of your predicament, and our top scientists are on it now. We expect a result in a few weeks, a month at the most." Daniel scoffed at this, saying, "At the rate you're talking, we won't survive a few more weeks." Ironfeld grew irritated, saying, "Can you let me finish my dang briefing? Then you can ask your questions." Daniel quickly shut up, and Ironfeld continued, "As I was saying, this time our scouts caught a glimpse of a mysterious entity wandering among the smoking ruins of the city. Said it was shaped like a player, but was covered in flashing ones and zeros, and it had no face. Anything it touched instantly crumbled into nothingness. Now with this data, our scientists have been testing new weaponry to try and beat back this unique enemy. We would appreciate any outside knowledge from you two, since you've experienced the outside and may have knowledge of this creature." James shrugged his shoulders, saying he'd be happy to help. Through all of this, Daniel slowly became choked with an ever-growing sense of dread. He stuttered as he asked, "Well, which way do you think this entity would be heading next?" Ironfeld strutted back to the map, saying, "We've realized that whatever this thing is, it's been sweeping a wide arc around the city, taking out the lowly fortified and small settlements dotting our perimeter. It likely wants to cut off our escape before making an attack, since it certainly anticipates high resistance from us. The last village still standing around us would be Pisana, to the south." Daniel's eyes grew wide as he screamed, "I have to warn them!" Before they could protest, Daniel flew out of the war tower, sprinting with all his might toward his horse. He hopped on and galloped through the front gate at near insane levels of speed and adrenaline. When he came up on the mountain overlooking the village, all he could see was smoke curling into the sky and fire smoldering on the buildings below. He was too late.